Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the new Empoleon as a Shadow variant in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is actually fairly cool because it has a great unique typing. It's the only Water and Steel type in Pokemon in general, and with this you're going to be able to resist Charm like against this first Pokemon here, and also going to be able to beat something like a Basculin, which is really cool. Like, it's a great defensive typing, and so now as a Shadow it definitely has a little bit more play than the normal variant because you're doing a ton of damage with Waterfall, and this is basically your bread and butter anyway with this Pokemon. And definitely, I can tell you already, spoiler alert for the video, this team actually worked out really well. I would really recommend you to try it out, and especially the backline was so amazing to play. We have a Whimsicott here in the back because I want to play a few more like non-meta Pokemon. Like, this Pokemon is completely anti-meta. I have to say Whimsicott was so great for me. I'm maybe gonna play another team with Whimsicott in the future. First game going to be a win against a toxic team. But we can move on to the next one. We're going to encounter Elite, which would have been a little bit awkward for us, but the opponent stopped out immediately into the Skarmory, which is really bad because Empoleon is great against the Skarmory. Double resisting the fast move of Steel Wing, but also resisting all charge moves is really cool for this Pokemon here. And yeah, we're sadly still going to end up in a matchup where we're not going to be up against the Skarmory, but we're going to go up against, yeah, with our Annihilape against the opponent. But we can go for a charge move here. The opponent is going to use a shield, and with this, we're going to get the opponent to a range where they're still forced to go for a charge move, but I can let this move go through and go for the full farm down with my Empoleon. Let's see what is coming in afterwards, because we know that we would be able to beat their lead. It is going to be a Whiscash, and we're gonna just stay in here and go for the Hydro Cannon. This will do a ton of damage here, but we also know already at this point that the opponent is double weak against Whimsicott, and so they decide to forfeit. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have a pretty bad lead for us. It's going to be the Quagsire, and we swap out immediately into our Annihilape, which should have an okay time here. We can let the first move go through. It's going to be just the Mud Bomb from the opponent. Still going to two-shot us, which is not really ideal. They decided to go for the bait, which was a little bit of yeah, misplay here. Show went for the Shadow Ball. As you're going to see, the opponent lets this move go through. And with this, we're going to be forced to use a shield, which is not really ideal for us, and we could have played this already way better. But they swap out into a Gligar, allowing us to go for another Ice Punch. And we're still going to have in the lead here our answer basically for the Gligar, which is going to be kind of nice, which is going to be our Empoleon, which just can go ahead and go for a lot of fast move pressure here. I can catch a move as well on our Whimsicott, which is going to be the Dig, and it's going to be a resisted Dig, which is going to be really amazing for us. They're still forced to go for an Aerial Ace in order to knock us out because the Wing Attack is not going to be enough. But as you're going to see here as well, we can go into our Empoleon, farm them down, have a move stored, and they have the Annihilape, and I should have thrown already. I should have thrown my Drill Peck already, and they catch, of course, perfectly onto the Quagsire. Huge mistake by me. Could have actually won this game, I think, but it is what it is. Next opponent. Let's see here, we're going to have a great lead here of our Empoleon against the opponent's Toxapex. Here's the fun thing about it, Toxapex moves are all like single resisted, at least with the Brine, but double resisted with the other moves, and so we're going to have a great matchup there, but also the opponent decides to swap out into the Umbreon. Umbreon does not appreciate the matchup against the Whimsicott, and this is a cool thing about Whimsicott. Like, I would really recommend you to try this Pokemon out in the current meta. Yes, you're going to have a weakness against Skarmory, so you need something that beats Skarmory in the lead, but otherwise you're going to be able to beat those Dragon types that are currently around. You're going to be able to beat those Umbreons, which are pretty rare nowadays, I would say, but you're also going to be able to just beat those Mud Boys, which are kinda common, so would really recommend you to try out Whimsicott. Feel like this is a great pick in the current meta. Here they can still farm me down, but I can go for a Drill Peck against them as well, which is going to do some massive damage, way more than a Brine would do against us, so here, so you're gonna see, we're gonna put them into our like half health range already, and they swap out into the Guzzlord just to be met with our Annihilape. Annihilape was really good in the recent regional tournament as well. I wonder how strong this Pokemon going to be along the way, because I feel like this Pokemon will never really go anywhere unless like they nerf counter. This Pokemon is always going to be amazing. In comes the opponent here with their Toxapex. They're gonna go for the Brine. We actually can still survive. We can go for the safe play, going for the Shadow Ball now, and this is going to force a shield from the opponent. And with this, we're going to have one shield on each side, but I have my Empoleon with a lot of energy, and as you're gonna see here, we can reach the Drill Peck in time, getting the shield from the opponent. With the fast move damage of us, we're gonna definitely put them into range for another Drill Peck. But the opponent still is not giving up. They're still gonna go for a Brine, and they cannot speed me to the next move, which is going to be another Brine. But as you can see, even though we are Shadow, even though we're squishy, it does not really matter. We can easily take it and can go for the Drill Peck now to win this game. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have here the Dragonair in the lead again, and here I was waiting if they wanted to swap out or not, and they didn't, and so I decided to swap out. You lose against the Dragonair for sure, because while you do like Also kind of resist the damage. The opponent only does resist the damage, but Dragon Breath is just adding up a little bit too much against you. Here we're going to be able to go for an Ice Punch, which is okay for us, but not really that ideal either, because they're always going to be able to outspeed me. And so I'm forced to let this next move go through, and it's very likely currently, if they're running the Shadow Dragonair in the lead, that they're going to have the Skarmory plus the Lantern in the back, and we're going to see here, it's going to be a Whiscash, but it's very likely that they're still going to have the Skarmory in the back there. But luckily they decided to swap out here. As soon as I can swap out, I would be fine as well, but I did not swap out in time, and this was a huge mistake. If I did not do this, I think I would have been totally fine. Now I'm gonna go for the full farm run because it's my only play, and as you're gonna see, I was actually correct with predicting this team, as you're gonna see here as well. Exactly, the Skarmory comes back in. It's either Whiscash or Lantern and then the Skarmory. But yeah, if I just swapped out already, basically I would have been fine. If I kept the shield, I would have been fine, but I didn't. And so again, this is not really a team issue. This was me playing it a little bit bad, even though I would have known it better. And yeah, it's kind of sad to see because it would have been a game that we could have won, but like this, the opponent is going to be able to get some extra energy here, and we are already for sure on Brave Bird range, as the opponent can even go for a Sky Attack and knock me out. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. It would have been winnable if I was a little bit smarter. Next opponent, we're going to have a Charger Bug. This is going to be one of the more trickier Pokemon to deal with for this team, especially if they're going to swap out into an Azumarill straight afterwards. So, we're going to get Hard Walled here, but maybe we still have a chance. We're going to find this out together. We can go for the Shadow Wall against the opponent. And as you're going to see, I'm going to use a shield now because I am expecting that I would be able to get my shield back anyway. They know that they have a great matchup with the Charger Bug. They know that they have a great matchup here with the Azumarill. And for them, it's a safe play to go for a shield here against the Ice Punch. And they do exactly this, which is going to be amazing because we can use a shield here as well against the opponent. We're going to get them lower and lower. And with this, we should be able to reach another move in time, hopefully. I decided to go for the Ice Punch here, just hoping that they would use another shield. But they decided not to. And this was a huge mistake because now I'm forced to swap out into the Empoleon. Maybe I actually would have been able to counter them down, actually, which was a little bit of a silly play by me because I would have been better off then. But they're forced to go for a charge move basically straight away now, which might be okay for us, but it's still going to be a tough one to come back from. The opponent is not switch locked, which is a little bit annoying. They're going to have a better matchup there in general, and they still have a shield left, which is really awkward for us. So yeah, it's not looking too good for us. We're gonna be able to let this move go through. Excel is going to be neutral. We can still take another one. I can go for the Moonblast, and my only hope is now that I can maybe snipe them with the Annihilape. Let's see. Never mind, they actually let this move go through, and in comes now the Digger's Bee. They're gonna go for a charge move straight away, which is going to be the Fire Punch, and they're most likely going to outspeed me as well with my Annihilape to getting to 2 charge moves, and as I still have a shield left, I think this is going to be it for this game, because there's no way I can go for 2 Ice Punches unless the opponent gets greedy and gets to 1 extra fast move afterwards here. And they do actually this, which is kind of weird because, yeah, they could have won this game if they went for a Fire Punch. They didn't, and with this, we're going to be able to win this game here. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have a Skarmory in the lead, which is of course exactly what we want to face here, as you're going to see the swap out into the Saberline. You might also wonder why I didn't swap out immediately. Could have swapped out immediately, but I don't know if it was actually worth it. This is like the awkward thing about Whimsicott. Whimsicott does not really have the pressure against something like a Saberline because, yeah, you need to kind of get to the charge moves here because we're not running Charm on this Pokemon. And so it's a little bit more annoying to get to those moves, and this is mostly not going to get the knockout. It actually does get the knockout, and we can realign. But now the issue is that the opponent going to get a ton of energy here against us, and the Skarmory is going to have a great time now. What they most likely going to have in the back is going to be some kind of water type, I would imagine. Something like a Whiscash would make a lot of sense, but let's find out together what it's going to be. We will see here the Empoleon coming back in. We have to take the move. I expect a Whiscash in the back anyway, so let's see what it's going to be. It is a Whiscash in the back. What a surprise. Yeah, currently teams are really easily readable, basically. We're gonna use a shield here against the Scold, and of course you're gonna get the debuff immediately. And there's an annoying thing about just Scold. Like, if it was anything other than 50-50, it would have been fine in my opinion, but like Scold is just like, if you get the debuff, the matchup completely swaps, and like if you don't get the debuff, it's also completely a different matchup afterwards. And so here we are not going to be able to farm down because of the debuff, and with this we're going to lose this game, which was my only win con to win like this. But yeah, it is what it is. I just hate Scold right now. It's like such a bad move choice. Let's take a look at the next opponent. We're going to have Annihilape in the lead, so we are forced to swap out into our own Annihilape, as they are going to go ahead and go into the Lickitung. I at least can go for the Ice Punch now, which is going to connect against the opponent. And over this, I'm going to use a shield here against the opponent, because it's very likely that they're going to go for the Power Whip, and they do decide to do exactly this, which allows me to go for the full farm down before they can go for another one. And so I have a Shadow Ball stored, and they cannot really go back into their own Annihilape because I would outspeed them. And let's see what the opponent gonna do. They're gonna go up into their Skarmory, and with this I can align my Pokemon, which is going to be kinda nice. But then again, the Annihilape has access to the move Ice Punch as well, which is going to be a little bit tricky for Whimsicott later on. So it is not over yet, but hopefully we're going to be able to have a great time here. We're going to see that we can get an extra fast move in. They can go for the Brave Bird if they want. They do decide to go for the Brave Bird, and so I swap out immediately as the opponent swaps out immediately. I can just go for the Grass Knot against them as well, which should be fine for me. Let's see, the Ice Punch is coming through. It's not going to do too much damage. I can go for the Grass Knot, which is going to be a little bit cheaper and still going to chunk quite a bit. And it is not going to get the knockout, but we're going to get them low enough that I can just use no shield here, go for one fast move with the Empoleon, and we should be able to just farm down everything, because again, the fast move of the opponent's Skarmory is double resisted, and like this we can easily win this game. Next opponent coming through, we're going to have a Swampert in the lead. This is not ideal for us either. We can swap out immediately into our Annihilape, as they swap out into a Golisopod, completely hardwalling us. And honestly, Golisopod is such a smart play. Like in the current meta with Whiscash everywhere, Golisopod seems to have a lot of play, so I definitely like this one quite a bit. Also wonder if a Rockrunet has some play in the current meta with like the Whiscash, but I feel like even Scold could like completely change those matchups as well. But here we're going to be forced to go into our Empoleon. We can go for a charge move here against the opponent before they even reach their own one, which was kind of weird. But this is going to connect. The opponent going to use a shield, and now it comes down if Whimsicott can do something. Of course we're gonna have a complete hard wall here throughout the entire game. There is nothing I can do, literally nothing. Completely hardwalling me from the beginning till the end, and so I'm gonna let this move go through. Great play by the opponent to undercharge this, because otherwise I actually had a decent chance of winning this game, because I would have been able to farm down here. But like this, I'm forced to use a shield, and so they are going to be fine with their Swampert basically against me. I think maybe there was actually a chance of winning this if I just had this extra shield, but I was not able to do so because the opponent made a great play by undercharging. But yeah, I think we still would have lost though, so yeah, this is going to be it for this game, and we can move on to the next one. Against a legend player here, what team are they running? Oh, Bastion in the lead, amazing, isn't it? At least it's going to be a lead that we can deal with, and you see me doing something interesting here. You see me swapping out into my Annihilape and catching the move. Why did I do this? The likelihood of us encountering here a Bastion, a Wigglytuff, and a Victreebel is pretty high, and so that's why I decided to keep the energy, because I know that my best answer for the Wigglytuff, which I have to get out anyway, is going to be my Empoleon. And you know what I also know now? If the opponent is going to basically take a charge move here from me, they're going to let this move go through and then go into the Victreebel and farm me down, but I don't really want to allow this. So what I did here is I went up to 100 energy. I can still go for one Hydro Cannon against the opponent's Bastion, need to get the knockout, can get the full knockout now, and now I can still go for a Drill Peck afterwards, and this will allow me to get the shield from the opponent. And now it's down to you, the Whimsicott against a Victreebel, and as we resist the fast move and as we do a ton of damage with Moonblast, we will see very shortly that we actually were able, because we know what the opponent's team basically was, to win this game. Still not too sure why you really have to play this kind of team, but I guess it's the fastest team that you can run right now. It is like so annoying. Honestly, the current Great League meta, I don't think there was ever a worse time for like Great League meta. It's just like so bad. And it's not because of accessibility, which was usually the issue in my opinion, where like everybody was like running Lickitung plus Medicham, which was still at least counterable. It is just completely RPS every single game. You have like your main meta core, and then you have like the here what's called the fast move beatdown team, and that's basically it, and it's just so annoying to play against. So yeah, again, I would not really recommend you to play Great League in the current time if you really want to climb, but honestly there are no better choices right now either. So Niantic really has to do something. I really hope that Scold gets nerfed for the next season, because otherwise it's going to be really awkward. But here we're going to see the discharge coming through from Charjabug, and as we're going to see here as well, that we're gonna be able to just let this next move go through as well. We can still take it, as we saw prior, does around 50%, and we will going to be able to knock out the opponent's charger back. And with this, we're going to have a great time because the opponent most likely going to be weak against us, otherwise it will have swapped out already. It's going to be a Guzzlord, and this next Moonblast is going to win us this game. Whimsicott OP, this team actually worked out super well, would recommend you to try it out as well. And that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and see you then. Bye bye.